go ahead and get started just because I think that everybody that was in the waiting room now is in. So, welcome everybody to our new student check in with advisors. I'm Renee Finnemore. I'm one of your academic advisors, and we've had lots of communication back and forth since you got your acceptance. So, glad to see you all here today, and I'll let Adriana say hi.
And I'm Adriana Kelly. I'm your other academic advisor, and I've also had some communication getting you into orientation and getting you registered. So it's nice to see some familiar names here.
Yeah. So, really, we just want this to be an opportunity to kind of give you an overview of what to expect as you're kind of getting started in the program and connect with your classmates and that sort of thing. So, at any time, if you have any questions, just let us know. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that we can kind of go through this presentation today. So, again, these are your advisors and also um, your success coach, Barbara Bush. She was not able to be here with us today, but you'll be seeing lots of emails and things from her as you go along throughout the semester. So just be on the lookout for those. So, like I said, we really just want to give you an overview of what to expect in terms of your classes, dealing with financial aid, and looking ahead to field placement. So, those are the things that we're going to cover today. But if you have other things that you're wondering about, if you could just save those questions till the end, we'll try to answer those as best we can. Adriana, do you want to start?
Sure, absolutely. So you have already started your classes, so you're getting an idea of what it's like. Um, the course design is going to be the same for pretty much every course that you take in the program. So we have 7-week terms, and when you get into field placement, you will have those run the length of the semester, so they don't happen in 7 weeks. But right now you're in an accelerated program. 7-week classes is the norm for the first year, and then you'll add in the field component in your second and third year. Um, you might notice that there's not a lot of communication between you, interaction rather, between you and your classmates in this current course. That is unusual. So don't let this first class sort of throw you off as to what the rest of the courses are going to be like. There's much more interaction with your instructor and your cohort mates in the future. This course right now is very heavy on the reading, doing quizzes and stuff like that. Um, it'll be different, we promise. um, this first semester, we registered you for courses after you completed the orientation, but in the future, you'll register yourself. We will give you information exactly what to register for and which sections are available to you, along with instructions on how to get in there. Um, Look out for an email from me in March. That is when summer registration will open. So I'll give you exactly what you need to enroll in. And if you are interested to know what's coming up, you can look at your plan of study from the orientation. That will tell you exactly what your upcoming classes are. You may have noticed that you have a pressure to plagiarize module on your web courses dashboard. Please do this because if you don't, or if you don't do it in correctly and finish it, you will have a hold placed on your account that prevents you from registering the next semester. So if you have any questions about that, you can ask us, but it's run through the College of Graduate Studies. So they're the ones that you send your score to once you've completed the module, and they will either not place the hold on your account or release the hold if there is a hold on the account. And then lastly, you will see in my UCF on the right-hand side, you have some to-do list items. So if you applied for financial aid and they need anything else from you, they're going to make a note there in your to-do list of something else that you need to finish for them in order to get financial aid. Um, if there's anything that you're missing, if you applied with an in-progress transcript, for example, and you need to provide your final transcript showing that you earned a degree, you'll see it in your to-do list. So keep an eye on those to-do list items. And if you click on them, it'll tell you what department placed the to-do item. So you can ask them if you have any questions, but you can also reach out to Renee and myself, and we can see what they are as well.
Okay, so thinking about financial aid, um, you should, if you're looking for financial aid for this semester and the summer semester, you'll want to submit the 2022-2023 FAFSA. And I always tell students to go back and double check that that's the FAFSA you've actually submitted, because the application for the next academic year opens in October. And it when you go to the studentaid.gov website, it defaults to the next academic year. So if you went and filled out a FAFSA, it could be that you inadvertently applied for 2023-2024 academic year, which doesn't start until September. So obviously you're going to need that FAFSA because you'll want financial aid for next year. But if you are hoping to use financial aid to pay for your courses this spring and in the summer, you'll want to make sure that you've submitted that 2022-2023 FAFSA. So, like Adriana mentioned, you might have to-do list items that you need to complete, and that'll be indicated in My UCF. Things tend to be the things that I usually see in there are usually related to some sort of change that you've had since you filed your taxes 2 years ago, because they use your tax information from the prior year. So we're looking at like 2020 taxes right now. So if you got married or you have more dependents or you changed your job and you're making like significantly different income, they may be looking for you to provide some additional documentation to verify that. Just know that they can't package your aid and process things until they receive that paperwork. So you want to make sure you do get these to-do list items resolved pretty quickly so that you don't have a delay. But grad students, there's no grants, there's no Pell Grants for grad students. It's all student loans. So you can anticipate that if you've never taken loans for graduate study in the past, you're going to be offered 10,250 in student loans for this semester and slightly less in the summer semester. And that has to do with what UCF calculates as the cost of attendance. That's tuition, fees, books, cost of living expenses, transportation, room and board, things like that. So you won't necessarily need that much to cover your fee invoice, because your tuition and fees for this semester, you've probably seen that fee invoice. They're just about 3,000, but you can choose to accept or reduce. So you can accept the amount they give you. You can reduce it. You can decline it. It's up to you. But just know that like that's kind of how that process will work. Disbursement of the loans is tied to your active enrollment. And this means that for our program, because we take our classes one at a time, we're not showing that we're actively participating in a course until term 2 starts, right? We're not actually in that class until the class starts. And so that delays disbursement. So for the spring semester and fall semesters, you have to be active in at least 4.5 credit hours before the aid will disperse. And so that doesn't happen until term 2. So that's why you see that delayed payment deadline of March 31st. That's to give your class a chance to get started. You do that financial aid activity assignment and for your aid to disperse. So you'll see that happen kind of later this semester. It's a little different in the summer because everything likes to be confusing when it comes to financial aid. So in the summer, you only have to be active in 2 credit hours in order for aid to disperse. So your aid this summer will disperse right away at the beginning of the semester and pay your fee invoice. If you accept more than the amount needed to pay the invoice, just like in the spring, any surplus will be refunded to you. So it will just happen earlier in the summer. And then again, back in fall, you'll be back to that later disbursement period because it's a higher enrollment requirement. And then starting in your second year of the program, because you'll also be in field courses at the beginning of the semester, your aid will disperse at the beginning of the semester for the rest of your time in the program. So that's a lot of info and it can be a little bit confusing. So anytime you have questions, you can feel free to reach out to me directly or Adriana, she can help as well. We do recommend that you reach out to us before calling financial aid for 2 reasons. One, they use like a hotline and sometimes there can be really long waits. And 2, because of our 2-term structure, it's really unusual at UCF. There's maybe about, I don't know, 600 students that are in that sort of 2-term structure. And so a lot of times the people who answer the phone don't recognize, they can't see what type of student you are or what program you're in when you call and speak to them. And so they're going to give you the basic information that applies to the other, 75,000 students at UCF. And so we want to make sure that you get accurate information. So if there's something particular that's like not happening right, we have a specific person at Financial Aid that we can connect you with, but we can definitely save you that long wait time on the phone if you come to us first. So that's about it on financial aid.
And the field or the fee invoice date, did you mention that? It's March 31st?
March 31st. Yeah. So I know that can be confusing. We tried to talk about that a little bit with students. I had like a drop in for students right before the break for people that had gotten admitted. But basically, the UCF has like the university has a payment deadline, which is the second week of classes, and everybody's fee invoice says that. And then after that date passes, then they update the fee invoice with the program specific due date. So just know that like you should see that now that your fee invoice is going to be updated, probably Monday to reflect that it's actually due March 31st. But you might see right now that it says January 20th. Want to talk about field placement or shall I?
Yeah, sure. So, like Renee said, when you start your field placement next spring, you will you'll qualify for financial aid release early. But we're going to get that process started a lot earlier than you might expect because it can take some time to get a placement secured. So next semester, you'll begin the field placement process. There is a non-credit web course that you'll be added to where you'll need to submit a few things and go through the application process to get a placement secured for the spring. You'll be matched with a field faculty member, and they'll be basically your point of contact to discuss any limitations you might have, any concerns, what areas you're interested in, where you're located, that kind of thing. You're expected to complete 10 hours per week at an agency, and that's not typically in one day. So think about giving yourself at least 2 days a week to complete your hours at your agency. Weekend and evening hours are pretty much non-existent, except for rare occasions. So expect that your time will be spent between 8 to 5, Monday to Friday. You'll have to find a way to get 10 hours in there. So start thinking about that now. And you'll see when you do your field process, you'll be working with your field faculty member and they'll let you know that weekends and evenings are not usually available. But you can find more information about this in our advising portal. There's a section, a module on field education. So you can learn a bit about what generalist placement is versus clinical placement, what sort of locations you might get placed in, the kind of agencies or work you might be doing, and just a bit more information on what to expect when you go into field placement.
So thinking about getting connected with the university now that you're a student here, I think I cannot stress enough to you how important it is to use your Knights email account and be checking that regularly. So, we're required to communicate with you via your student email account so that we know that we are communicating directly with you and not with someone else, that, only you have access to this account. And this is also how student accounts and financial aid and any other offices, any faculty that you have, they're going to communicate via that Knights email. So make sure that you are checking that several times a week. You can always reach out to Adriana and I. We will meet with you individually via Zoom, over the phone. You can send us an email. I've had students meet with me in person because they're in the area. So certainly we can do that. And also like your faculty. So if you want to talk to your professor, make use of their office hours. I've noticed a lot of our office hours, our faculty indicate their office hours are by appointment, which means that they'll schedule something with you that works for you and them. So, reach out to them, have a conversation with them, learn more about your class and what they do and their, work in the field. You have that success coach, Barbara. We're going to talk a little bit more about the success coaches in a minute, but just know that this is another layer of support for you here, just another person as part of your support network here at UCF. So lean on them as much as you can. You should have received an invite, a course invitation to the online MSW advising portal in web courses. This is sort of like a place where we keep everything that you might need to know about advising and things about the program. We send announcements out through that. So just, it's a good place to find information if it's, Saturday night and you're wondering about, what's the schedule like for summer. We keep the academic calendar in there so you can find it. Or if you're trying to register yourself later and you're wondering, like, how do I do that? There's instructions there as well. And then lastly, if you use Facebook, we do have a Facebook group that's private, that's just for our students and alumni. So you can request to join that. You should have received info about that from Adriana when you got registered, but if you need it again, just let us know and we can send that on. But that's a good place to, we put stuff out there, we announce things. Alumni often share job postings there. Students often ask about faculty, they give feedback about classes, things like that. But just know that as far as the advisors go, anything that we share to Facebook, we will also share through the advising portal. So if you are not a Facebook user, you're not going to miss out on the information that we share there. Adriana, do you want to talk a little bit about connecting with us?
Sure. So Renee mentioned you can pretty much set a time to meet with us at any time. We can do email, phone. We are doing Zoom now, and we're happy to set up Zoom sessions with you. We offer advising sessions throughout the semester, so keep an eye on your email because sometimes we'll have a drop in, like Renee mentioned, that she had before the break, that you can just pop into if you have a question that you'd like us to answer. But we're pretty available to you. Things that you might reach out to us for are questions about your plan of study, clarifications of our policies. Our academic policies are in our student handbook, which you should have seen in the orientation. They're also listed on your plan of study, which you signed, so you can always look back on them, but feel free to reach out to us for clarification. The academic requirements, and especially if anything comes up during the term, at any point, if something comes up that you think might be a challenge or something that's impacting your performance in the class, just let us know. It's better to let us know as soon as possible so we're not in week 5 or 6 and the class is about to end and we don't know what to do to help. The earlier you connect with us, the better it is, the more options you have. So definitely, if you're confused about anything, reach out to us. And even if we don't know how to help you, we will point you in the right direction. But you can reach out to either one of us, both of us. It doesn't matter. We're equipped to handle the questions that you have. And if we're not, we'll definitely get you where you need to go.
And then lastly, just this is the info specific to your success coach. So really the success coach is there to support you as you're moving through the program. And so I tell students, they really are there to help you identify, like, what are the goals? What are you doing? As a student, what is it that you want to do with your degree when you're done? Where do you see yourself going with this? And the coach can really help you develop a plan and come up with some strategies to help you meet your academic goals, but also those career goals. So they can help you develop plans to make sure that you're following your plan of study to graduate in the time frame that you want to, connecting you to resources at the university level, but also how to find resources in your community. And I think one of the things that's really Barbara's specialty is being a champion for students. She has a really great way of encouraging our students and lifting them up when they're really feeling somewhat discouraged and maybe unsure. And so when you have those moments where you're feeling a little bit of imposter syndrome and can I do this and can I really, am I going to be successful as a grad student? Barbara can really help you with that and help you to feel like you're going to be able to do your best. So like I said, Barbara does send emails to students, so you should have seen some emails from her already. If not, they'll be coming probably tomorrow or next week. But she'll email you several times throughout the semester about different topics. Could be financial, could be career related, could be health related. She really takes a holistic look at being a student and all the things that might impact your academics and tries to help address and provide resources for those things. So whenever you're, going through the program and you're thinking, gosh, if this one thing was just a little bit better, like school would be so great, like I could really focus on it. That's something to talk to Barbara about because she might be able to help you come up with some strategies for dealing with that thing, even if it's not like I just, I need better study habits or I need to manage my stress, but whatever it might be, she can really help you to kind of clarify. So I strongly encourage you to read her emails and reach out to her whenever you need to. And then that's sort of the end of our presentation. So the one thing I will say going ahead is that we'll be sending out a recording of today's session. And also I'll be sending a link to schedule an appointment with me. So one thing that we do like to do is make time for each new student to have a chance to have an individual advising appointment with me. So this is a chance to sort of connect and hear how things are going so far and answer any additional questions that you might have that maybe don't get asked today, but also just to help you build that connection a little more here at UCF. So thank you, everybody. And any questions, I guess we'll open it up for questions at this point.
So feel free to unmute yourself, or we're monitoring the chat as well. So if you want to type it out, we can answer that as well.
Go ahead, Liza.
Hi there, it's Lisa with a Z. Sorry, my dog's barking in the background. Is it okay to ask a financial aid question?
Go right ahead.
Okay, so this morning I realized just what you said, I had to go accept or decline, and I didn't understand because I know that we're on 7-week increments. And so I accepted the full amount, but is that something that they draw through the whole year?
So the amount that you were awarded for spring is only intended to cover spring expenses. So you can do one of two things. We can reach out to financial aid and ask them to adjust the amount that you want to accept less, like maybe you want to reduce it. You can they'll refund you the surplus and you can hold on to that and use it to pay for your fee invoice in the summer. So like you'll get offered a financial aid award for summer is always done separately. So they wait until students register for summer and then they package them a financial aid offer for summer. You can decline your summer offer and use the surplus from this semester to pay the tuition and fee invoice for next semester.
Wonderful. And
so
then,
yeah, but you'll get a separate award offer for each semester that you have applied for financial aid.
okay, so that if you decline in the summer because you're going to use your surplus, you can go ahead and apply again in the fall and hopefully
Correct.
Okay, wonderful.
Correct. And you'll get offered financial aid again in the fall.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. How's everybody doing so far with the reading and the quizzes in your first classes? How does that seem to be going?
It's a lot of reading.
Definitely a lot.
So far, so good. I am just trying to learn how to study the best way with so much reading.
It's definitely tricky. For some people, this is kind of a refresher because they might have taken something similar in their undergrad, but not always. So
yeah,
trying to get used to the online book.
Yeah, using like an electronic book instead of a paper book. That can be tricky too. one thing that I do love about, using an ebook is that a lot of times there's a feature, especially if you're using Kindle, if you're highlighting, you can go to your notes and you can search, your notes. So that can kind of speed things up when you're taking a quiz if it's open book, open note, because you can search for what you're looking for if you've highlight, which is helpful too. So that can make it go a little faster anyway. Yeah. So I know Adriana said like this isn't going to be like this. So this class is kind of a bit of a bear when it comes to the amount of reading. Like you really get thrown right into it. And then there's a quiz every single week until kind of towards the end, and then there's more papers and not a quiz every week. It won't be like this the rest of the time in the program. So if you're feeling like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? Just know that in future classes, there will not be as much reading and the reading will be more mixed. There'll be some PowerPoints, some articles, some textbook reading. There'll be videos. There'll be a lot more interaction with your classmates because there'll be discussion posts and you'll need to post and also respond to your classmates' posts. There'll be different types of writing besides just papers. You'll have some different kinds of group projects that you'll get to do. And so there'll be a lot more interaction. So it'll be, it'll be a lot of work, but not quite like this. Like this reading load is pretty intense and we recognize that. So, and then we have a question in the chat. Will future classes have synchronized meeting times? So there are a couple of classes that do have live components to them. One is the clinical practice with groups, and the other one is clinical evaluation for social work practice. They're later on in the program. And the way those are structured is that the instructor will publish the dates, and usually students can pick between a couple of different dates and times to attend. And then basically you're kind of in a group with people in that time slot. So for the most part, though, everything is asynchronous. So you'll have a syllabus with deadlines, but you'll be able to access your courses and do the work whenever it's convenient for you, as long as you turn it in by the deadline. You're welcome. Yes, you should have. The question is, will there be recorded lectures in the future? Yes, it's varies by class. Some classes have PowerPoint slides that are just reading and there's no audio. Some classes have PowerPoints with audio, and some have like a video lecture. So every class is kind of set up differently. UCF uses this kind of unique lead faculty structure where one person's responsible for developing the course and lots of different people teach it. And so everybody sort of puts their own personality, I guess, and preference into the course. So it looks different from section to section. Any other questions today? Oh, you're so welcome. So I guess I think I will leave you with is on Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern, we're having a drop-in session, a little coffee chat. You should have seen that announcement go out to invite everyone. So if you're, if you're available and you want to come, that will be open to all students in the program. So it's a nice opportunity to hear from other students that are farther along about what their, kind of what their experiences are as they're, as you get farther into the program. So, so if you're free and you'd like to attend, feel free. That session, the drop-in sessions we do, those are usually not recorded. So, so that one is kind of like, if you can make it, great. And if not, catch us the next time around. So we offer those at least once a semester, sometimes twice, sometimes 3 times. I don't know, just depends on what's going on. So, So hopefully we'll be able to see you there Tuesday, but otherwise, if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to reach out, and we'll get this link sent over to you guys in the next day or two.
Thanks for coming.
Everybody have a great day.